long ago, the 4 nations lived in harmony. That all changed.
And then the Fire Nation attacked!
Yeah. That's what we're talking about today.
Yeah. Hello, we are Inconceivable. I'm William.
I'm Alex.
I'm Wesley. And we already did the intro.
So you're welcome.
That was good. Good improv. So since we did that, why don't you start, Alex?
Oh, great. We did, yeah, sure, fine. I mean, yeah, throw me under the bus. What? Oh, right, Gary.
Yeah, don't neglect
I'm
Gary.
sorry, Gary. I can never see Gary because he's always behind the mic. All right. So basically, I watched all of Avatar a couple weeks back, like the show, not the movie, because I'm not a terrible person.
That confused the crap out of me when I was younger.
What?
I was like
confused
Avatar with the blue people. I was like, that's not Avatar.
Like,
okay, I was thinking about like the live action version.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, those came out the same year. It caused mass confusion for everybody.
That is weird.
Yeah.
How did they do that?
And then one was a huge flop and disgrace to the series, and the other was literally the best-selling movie of all time.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about either of those. We're talking about the show.
The good one.
We're talking about the one that everyone cares about, the one that people love. So I just watched it a couple weeks ago. I tried to watch it like before, but I only watched a couple episodes. And now, honestly, it is hard to start a kids show basically when you're an adult. So I watched the first couple of episodes. I wasn't really into it, and then my friend was just like, "All right, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna watch as many as we can right now." So we watched like eight episodes in one night, and it got me hooked. Basically, I'm just like, "All right, I need to watch this."
Watching with friends does help, but that was a good binge.
Definitely, it was really really fun.
And who did you watch it with?
I watched it with my cosplay friends. Also, my
actually,
D&D
technically,
friends.
our D&D group.
Our D&D
group.
Yeah.
That would be a cool subject someday.
One day. But we're not talking about that day.
Stop getting me off track!
Great grief, man. Yeah.
And then the Fire Nation attacked.
We're just gonna say that every time to distract someone. Alright, yeah. So I watched the first 8 episodes. I really enjoyed it, and then I was like, all right, well, I think I started watching it on Amazon Prime, so I went back, and you can't watch it for free anymore, which was a real bummer. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll just wait then, basically. Not really sure what was going to happen, so I was like watching shows in between. But then I was like, you know what, let's see how much it costs. It was like $20 for all 3 seasons on Amazon.
Not bad, actually.
I was like really excited. I was very happy. So I bought the entire box set. And then I was still watching shows. I was like, I can't watch this until I'm done watching these. So after that was done, I took like a week and just binged the show. I think I watched.
There's only 3 seasons.
Yeah, only 3 seasons.
Oh yeah, water, earth, and fire.
Yeah, water, earth, and fire because
everybody knows air.
Yeah, he already knows air. Yeah. But basically, I spent an entire weekend and was able to watch the first and second season, and then I watched the 3rd season throughout the week. And I just want to say, I really, really love this show.
I like how you're like rocking back in your chair.
It's so cool.
It was one of my favorite shows.
I'd say it's like one of the best cartoon shows that I have seen because it's an actual story. Like it's a continuing arc. It's not just like episodic really.
Yeah, because a lot of kids shows are like that.
Yeah, a lot of them are like that. It's mostly just like kids shows are just for laughs, basically. But this one had like a progressing story. Like you needed to know what was going on.
It may sound silly, but one kids show that like kids are gonna swear by when they're older is like the Ninjago series.
Really?
Are you serious?
Yeah, because that's a very similar like story arcing thing, and they have a pretty hardcore like kid fan base.
A Lego show.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. No, like a lot of people were unhappy with the movie that came out. And
I heard that. The movie was not very well received.
That movie came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, did we ask for this?
Yeah, why did we need a Lego Ninjago?
We got Lego Batman, and then we were just like...
It's one of its biggest properties, so I get it.
Yeah, I understand why, but also why. But yeah, I think that, because I don't think when Avatar came out, it had that same kind of, people are going to take this into their adulthood.
Oh, no. Actually, I think what happened was there was I think it was an hour-long episode about Aang being the boy in the ice who was, brought back 100 years later. I think there was like a long episode, and then I think it might have gone for a few years without the show actually happening, and then they redid it basically. I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that there was a different version before the actual show.
Okay.
and then the show came out, and it was like it wasn't. I think it went from 2003 to 2007.
It was a big deal on Nickelodeon. Like, it had a primetime spot.
Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
because it was on Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon was usually like that's the same place where SpongeBob SquarePants
Yeah.
is. Like
Yeah.
this
With that
this
reference.
show is like a really
That's
big
the
step
true
up
show
for them.
from my childhood.
Yeah.
SpongeBob.
Oh, seriously?
Yes.
Good grief!
You kidding me?
You uncultured swine.
SpongeBob like transcends like it does like
No, I'm not disagreeing
but-
the
with you.
meme culture is so
yes.
rich. Like
Okay, yes, SpongeBob is something interesting. I don't
I love it.
But Avatar, it was like, this is a big deal. This is like a show that has heart and has depth, and it's a kid's show. And the thing is that even as an adult, like I'm a kid at heart. Who am I kidding? But but this was like a very, very like intricate show where you had to like be on the balls of your feet because you weren't sure what was going to happen, and you're basically going through the story with the characters because let's remember Aang was stuck in the ice for like 100 years basically.
Yeah, him's old.
He is old, so everything that he knows has
really-
changed. So we are seeing it with him basically, even though he basically
Literally
knows the world
Captain
before.
America.
He's like a really
Oh my gosh!
He's a really old 12-year-old. Wait, isn't he like 12?
112.
Yeah.
The Ice Boys, Captain America. And
Crack open a cold one with the Ice Boys. The cold ones you're cracking open are them.
Kill me now! Just kill me now! So what was something that you like really liked about the show, Wesley? Because you haven't seen all of it. Because
Honestly, this is gonna sound super like sentimental, but my fondest memory of the show is just that my dad and I both loved watching it together. Yeah, like, well, my dad watched a lot of cartoons with me. Like, that was kind of our thing growing up. But Avatar was special because my dad really loved martial arts.
Mhm.
It was kind of that Eastern, like the Eastern, like and
Yeah.
the martial arts and the elemental powers and stuff like
Right.
that.
Well, like with the martial arts, they actually use different martial arts for each bending, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, like, something that I was talking about with Into the Badlands episodes ago was I love the, like, I don't know how else to say it, like the color coordination. Of like how like every tribe has a power and a color and like a theme.
That's actually
I love that. Like, I don't know why.
No,
watching that is like it's basically just like, oh, it's also sort of like Harry Potter where you're like,
Yes,
all right, the different houses.
I love the organization of
And
it.
the-
Like,
I was
Yeah.
just thinking about this the other day that there's something that's really attractive to me about that, and I don't know. It just gets
Yeah.
me so excited.
Well,
I do too.
It leaves you wondering, like, okay, if I was in this world, which one would
exactly.
Yeah.
Because then you can like insert yourself. It's easy.
Yeah, it's be like, okay, based on the characteristics of the people in the nations, like which one do I think I relate to the most?
Which is a good question.
Yeah.
What benders are you guys? Because I'm an earthbender.
I think I would
Definitely.
be. I think I might be a firebender actually.
I think I'd be a waterbender. Like, not even trying to be different. Like,
No, I'm thinking like fire or water actually for me would be a pretty good one because like I don't get too deep and philosophical, but I really like those ones.
Fire or water. That makes sense too, because it's like
It's
those
like-
are the only really three that are left. Because Aang's the only airbender. He's the last airbender.
Yeah, so unless if you identify as Aang, it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to like compare.
Although there are some good flashback sequences
They really are.
where they go back to the temple and stuff
Well,
like
it
that.
helps because one of the things is that Aang is basically like the reincarnation of previous avatars, so
Yeah.
he has those different lives. So a lot of the time he has to go back, including to their lives too, to understand what's
Yeah.
going on. And also, probably spoiler alert because I will be talking about some stuff, maybe not a lot, but that is a warning. But it also goes back to his previous reincarnations, which actually affect the story a lot. Like, I can't remember the name of the fire.
The one that
airbender.
used to appear the most was the firebender
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
He was like
Avatar.
older, like long white hair, and I don't remember.
Poser? No. I can't.
But that was another thing I liked seeing. I thought it was cool to see the previous avatars because it was
Yeah.
just kind of cool to like, where did they come from? And what they
Yeah.
look like? And what their personalities like?
What's interesting is that like it basically progresses from one bender to the next. So it'll be like fire, earth,
like
water,
cycles.
air. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll basically just like it go. I don't know the actual formation, but they basically go and
It kind of, at least when you originally see that stuff, it kind of reminded me of Mulan. With like seeing all the past ancestors kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And kind of like harking on that. It felt kind of similar. It changed more and more as the season went on. But like when you first see them, especially when it's like a room full of stone like ancestors, it's like this looks like Mulan.
Yeah.
What did you like best about the show?
So I haven't finished yet, but
okay.
I did partake in that binge and did in fact love it. I just have a schedule that makes it very hard to watch things.
Yeah.
But I really like. It's got. I feel like it's got a lot of similar things that I like about Ruby. Like it starts off really, really carefree and just happy, and like you getting to really get attached to characters, and then it gets freaking real.
Although I think it would be worth it to watch it again because I want to watch it again. Well, I mean, because I forget the ending. Like it's actually been so long, I forget how it ends. So that makes it interesting.
I just watched it. I'm just like, oh, that's right. That's how it happened. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time I'm just thinking about what happened in the middle, and I will be honest, I absolutely love the show, but I feel like we didn't get to see enough of Aang training in the different forms, because basically he's sort of training with Katara and like the water bending basically, but she's also learning at the same time. He's able to learn a lot faster than her sometimes, but we didn't actually see a ton of training going on with that, or when he's doing earthbending with Toph, which, by the way, is an amazing character. You just wait and see, buddy.
Oh, you haven't met Toph yet?
He hasn't met Toph. She's in season 2, and she's so cool. She's like this. She's a blind girl who does earthbending, and she's able to see with her feet.
You know, I can really picture Sam cosplaying Toph.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. For some reason, yeah, I definitely get that.
You need to
Speaking of characters to relate to, oh my gosh, Sokka is my spirit animal. Okay?
yeah, I can see that.
He is the biggest goofball ever, but he's also like one of those guys, like he's just a regular guy who's trying to do his best, but everyone else is so OP, and he's just like, do I actually fit in with the group? Do I actually like...
Yeah, that is interesting. It was like everybody else had bending powers, and he's just there with his boomerang, like all angry. He's always like really salty.
I love Sokka, honestly, and let's be honest, like he was a player too, because he got all the girlfriends and they didn't. I don't
have powers. I have girlfriends.
Let's be fair though. The other option was Aang, and he's like 12, so. But still.
No, you mean
did anyone else find it
12?
Weird?
No. He's like 112.
Yeah. He's like, you don't want to date him because he's really young, and then you don't want to date him because he's actually really old.
That's such a weird complex to have.
Yeah. The girls are just like, oh, he's 12. Oh, he's 112.
Wait, no, he's 112, yeah. Just to give you an idea of how memorable this show is, I don't think I've watched it. Like, I watched it while it was on TV, all of it. I don't think I've watched it since. It's been a long time, and I still remember as much. Yeah, we should.
We should do it. I had the entire show.
It's a very wholesome show.
It really is.
It is, and they actually...
I love Appa. I want to...
Okay,
wait, here's the thing. Remember when I was... Wait, no, I was talking to someone about wanting to get cats and naming them, and like I wanted to get a white cat and name it Appa. Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be
awesome.
Sweet.
We should get a cat.
Yeah, actually, I was like... Appa was like, for me, was like, okay, he's pretty cool. Like, I didn't really love him until that season 2 episode where it's like an entire arc about him and all he's going through, and I'm watching, and I'm just like, I love this boy. Yeah, it's like, well, you're such a good boy. Big flying bison. Flying boy. It also like plays on your love for animals too. It's just like Appa's like. Aang's, well, he's his pet, but he's also his best friend, which is the same way that like we love our dogs or our cats, and we're just like, who's a good boy?
Does Momo belong to Aang, or is that Sokka's? I can't remember. He ends up hanging out with Sokka a lot, I think.
Momo is basically like a +1 to the group, basically, because they find him at the Air Temple.
Oh, that's
actually.
Right.
So he joins them. They're just like, oh yeah, we have a new friend. But the character progression in the show is also really incredible too, because, excuse me. Let's talk Prince Zuko. At first, he is like one of the most angsty characters that you ever see. It's just like, I need to get my honor back.
Definition of angst.
When I was a kid,
Angry boy.
his haircut was so freaking weird for me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like him just because his haircut was weird. Like seriously, I was like, who has hair like that? Like I didn't like him just because it like that, and he was just so.
He was angry, but
yeah.
I also didn't like his haircut either. So like in season 3, where he actually grows his hair out, I'm just like,
Oh, you're
angsty
you're
boy,
cool.
but it looks good.
Yeah, now you look like an angsty emo boy. Like,
I wonder if that's where they got the style for Todoroki from My Hero Academia, because
he does look kind of like Zuko. You know what?
He's got the burn.
When I
use
saw
fire.
him, I thought of Prince Zuko from later seasons.
I was just thinking, like, I hadn't seen the end of the show. I was just wondering. I was like, okay, so is this like, is this Zuko's and Katara's baby child or something? Because he has both fire and water. So.
Oh my word, his uncle too.
Yes.
Like can we just say,
yes.
Uncle
Oh my
Iroh is
goodness.
like the bomb.
He's like the MVP, because honestly, it's incredible, because he's basically there for Zuko the entire time, like through the good, through the bad, and Zuko's on this like basically he's on a fever mission. Like, I have to get the Avatar to get my honor.
Like, he's pretty crucial. Like, this would have been drastic.
I gotta make my dad love me. That's pretty much like the whole show.
And then you look in the background and you see that Iroh is like loving him for like no matter what. Like, he's there for him. He's supporting him
He's
the
like,
entire time.
your dad's a jerk.
He really is. And one of the things that I love about this show, I've talked a lot about what I love about this show.
One of the many.
Here's another
One of all the things I love about this show.
Something that I kind of like is the fact that it's not just black and white, basically. It's not like, water, earth, and fire nations, they're all the good guys, and water, earth, and air nations are all the good guys, and fire nation is the bad guys. They have good guys and bad guys on both sides.
Like within their own camps.
Yeah,
too,
a lot of the time there were people on the good side that were trying to manipulate Aang. And on the Fire Nation side, there's a lot of characters that, like, yes, they are fighting the battle, I guess, against the other nations, but it feels like they don't have their heart in it. It feels like they are apprehensive, Iroh, because he's basically doing that, but he's not. I feel like he's not fighting for the Fire Nation anymore. He's fighting for Zuko, and that touches my heart a lot. And that's that's one of the great things, is that, again, this is a show that was made for kids, but it has so much depth, and the story is absolutely incredible, and also the world is really incredible too, because it's basically like, all right, we're gonna separate it into things that we understand: earth, fire, water, and air, and it's all like they're all gonna have very different, lifestyles or areas of living. Like Fire Nation was very they built a lot of stuff. They're very mechanical. Earth Nation is very solid. Like, they're able to make like these huge, incredible buildings and cities, and they're able to transport themselves anywhere. And Water Nation, I won't get into it too much, but you see like the difference in each nation, and it's very, very interesting how they went about actually doing that. I like this show. I can't stop saying it.
To like kind of put a like a bow on it. Like, where does this show fit in with the rest of the shows that you've seen and love?
The rest of the shows. Well, the thing is, I've mostly seen animes recently, so I feel like that's somewhat separate, because
I know this one definitely is not an anime, but it does kind of get
it does have an anime
with it.
feel, because it's a lot of world building, and it doesn't just focus on one character. Like, Aang is, I guess, the main character, but I honestly feel like Zuko is also like a really big main character too. Like, obviously he's a really big main character, but it's like a really. I feel like Zuko progresses a lot more than Aang does in this show, honestly. I'd say this might be one of the best cartoons that I've ever seen.
A lot of people would agree with you.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm burping.
I thought you were getting emotional. So.
No, I'm not burping. So good. Trying.
One of the best cartoons I've watched recently. I can't talk about because you guys haven't finished it yet.
I'm sorry. Okay.
We'll get there next time.
Good grief.
We'll be getting back to Final Space as soon as these
because
guys...
it is finished, and we want also,
and it's amazing.
Yes. So we won't talk about it anymore. But yes, tease on that segment in the future.
Yeah.
You're
like earthquake in
for the people.
Turns out I'm an earthbender.
For the people listening, Will was just pushing the.
I was pushing the whole set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally like
messing up again. Yeah, this.
You could talk forever about.
I could. I mean, I don't know about forever, but this show is like
maybe
incredibly complex.
We could definitely revisit it with a very specific like theory in mind, or like
that or we can like undergo the challenge of watching the book of Korra. Is it like Book of Korra? Legend of Korra. We could
I watched the trailers and it feels more like modern day, and what I really like.
We could push through it together.
I guess we could. And maybe we can try and watch this show. I don't know.
Yeah, we try, and then maybe we give a new perspective.
Maybe.
I know Legend of Korra is not as like a definite hit.
It's not the same. Yeah, but it is cool seeing some of the older characters and where they are now, because you do. I know you get to see Aang. I can't remember.
I know you get to see Toph, I believe.
Okay.
So that alone, like maybe
cool.
just be cool to see those characters again, you know?
Yeah, it would be nice to see them again, but I might just
go with it with like fresh expectations and not like off the hype of like The Last Airbender.
Too late. I've already watched The Last Airbender. I'm just like, I love it.
I think Korra's a waterbender, or like I think she starts out as a waterbender.
I think she's a waterbender.
How can she be is she the Avatar?
It's called Avatar: Legend of Korra.
How can she be the Avatar if Aang's still alive? I don't know. We'll have to watch it.
Magic.
Yeah. Weird.
I don't know. They do have comic books that about what happens after the show for The Last Airbender, which I would like to read, because honestly they left a lot of things open for me.
That's one last thing about Avatar. That was like back in the day where like things continued their stories or added to them on multiple platforms, and like everybody knew about it. Like that was one of them, and Bionicle was one of them. Where like the comic books for that were huge. Like I'm just saying, like that's not really a thing anymore.
When comic books were all the rage.
Yeah, that's not really a thing anymore. Where you actually like a large group of people are following something on multiple platforms. Yeah.
But for anyone who has not seen the show, I actually think I've done a pretty good job of keeping it spoiler free.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about the ending.
Because I'm definitely, I'd love to finish it up and like revisit and like maybe talk more specifically about the ending. You know, that'd be cool.
Yeah, about what happens in the show. Yeah.
Maybe have a more specific thing to talk about.
If you're fans of Avatar, look forward to that.
And if you're not fans of it, go watch it, and you will be.
Tell us what you guys would think of doing like specials, because I've been throwing that idea around. Like, what would you guys like? We've talked about it a little bit. Special? Yeah, where maybe we do like a special and maybe take a whole hour or whatever to talk about just one subject, and we really like get into it. And I don't know.
We could have talked more than an hour about Avengers.
So. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what that would look like, but if the geeks out there wanted it, it would be worth doing it. So
true.
All right. Yeah.
Well, I know. What do you have for us?
What do I have for us? Well, William, you know what I have for us because you suggested it. I have been really neglecting my geek interests lately, so I'm gonna talk about Spiderman because there's a new game coming out. When does that come out?
Let me get the official date for you.
Okay. Yeah, but that's coming out soon. It's PlayStation only, which
is a surprise.
I know. Well, it's Sony. Spider-Man is owned by Sony, so
that's right.
It's really like that doesn't surprise me so much.
Huh.
But it's kind of a bummer for me because I'm a big expert. It doesn't all like it matters because I don't own any game consoles anymore.
You don't game anymore?
No, I was thinking about picking up what?
September 7th of this year.
September 7th. So
nice.
Not soon, but soon-ish, kind of.
Soon for video games.
Soon for video games.
Only 4 months away.
Because this was announced at E3 last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that is soon. That's only been a year. Right?
Well, we have E3 coming up next month.
Okay.
So it'll be a year and a half, which is an appropriate time for announcement to video game release.
No, we announced this game 2 years ago and it's still not out.
When a game's like, you should have a game announcement at an E3, and if it comes back to an E3, it should be like the last hype thing before it comes out.
Yeah.
Any game that comes to 3 E3s has gone way too far. Just stop.
Well, or in
No Man's Sky.
or in the opposite respect, when Fallout 4 was at E3, and then like 2 months later it came out. Like in November, I was just
literally okay. We'll have to set that aside because I could do a whole. We should do it like an E3 hype segment.
We could talk about E3. But Spider-Man, when I saw it come out, I was still living with you guys, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool to like get it? We could like all play. We can still do that.
Yeah.
But just like, I remember the first thing when I saw it, I was like, because he's got like a new suit.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't seen this kind of suit before, and I think, I don't know how, this is a long time ago, so I don't know how much of this they've changed, or maybe they haven't, but like, as far as I know, the story was supposed to center around Spider-Man at like his peak, like when he's been doing this for a while. So like their reason for the suit change was just kind of like, well, we're bringing Spider-Man into an unfamiliar area of his life, so we're gonna make him look different.
They're way off the origin story here, which is great because like
that's
what we've seen for like 3 or 4 movies.
Well, like even in video games, you see the origin story a lot, and to be honest, the original Spider-Man video games, which you all really loved, did a good job of that. I really liked those. You know,
I didn't play them.
You didn't play them?
No.
Well, it's definitely a great video game because that's a great game for one, the single player. I love the single player, but two, just in the same way that GTA is fun just by messing around. So is like Spider-Man by just going around.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I burned so many hours playing that game.
Are you talking about Spider-Man 2?
Like both actually, because I played
Spider-Man 1.
I played Spider-Man 1 for a while, which didn't have as much exploration, but you could definitely still do.
Because I actually played Spider-Man 1 more than I did 2.
I did,
but 2 ended up being the one that everybody's it's like the god of Spider-Man games.
No.
And
I did the same thing too, and I definitely played Spider-Man 2 when it came out, and it was great as well.
Yeah.
I just like at that point I was kind of Spider-Man'd out, so it's like, but I got so much enjoyment out of those 2 Spider-Man games, and it is easily the best movie-related video game that's ever come out. Movies and video games have such a weird relationship where they can't be good together. It's like movie video games are terrible and video game movies are terrible as well.
Because this Spider-Man game has a lot of hype. Like, it's supposed to be really good.
It's
made by Insomniac, which we were talking about earlier. But one of the things I want to say is, there have been times in the past where Spider-Man games have come right out in the open and said, hey, we want to be as good as Spider-Man 2. This one hasn't actually given that message off. No. It's just like, it's going to be a good Spider-Man game. Like, it's going to have all the things that you expect and want it to have, but it's not like trying to, like, I don't know, it's, as far as I know, it's not giving off that, like, we just want to be like,
right.
You know what I mean?
And they had a really great gameplay trailer for it come out where you basically run like the first mission.
Yeah.
Or a mission. I don't know if it's the first mission.
Yeah.
But it's very reminiscent of Arkham Asylum.
I was going to say, the combat is very, very similar to the Arkham games, but that's not a bad thing.
No.
Because the way that system fits Spider-Man just as well as it does Batman, because in the Arkham games, it's all about like reaction time, because most of it is like building combos off of like countering people.
Yeah.
Who's better to like counter people than Spider-Man who has his spider sense? So it's just like, it makes sense that they've adopted it.
And I don't know what you want to call this. There's not too many games like this. Both of these games have the same thing where it's a third person like group fighter. Like, I don't know what these games are almost extinct now. There used to be a lot more of them, but where you're like fighting mobs from a third person stand, like you don't usually see those kinds of games anymore.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of what I've seen from gameplay trailers really makes sense. They're things that in the past you've probably said, like, why wasn't this in a Spider-Man game before? Like, why didn't they utilize this? Like, I think I saw some things about Peter Parker's like photography skills might be included somewhere. Just like,
because that was in the first game. I can't remember if it was in the second game.
Just
I'd imagine if it was in the
second
game.
Would that be kind of like the same way that Batman uses his detective skills in Arkham?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. But what I do remember is that they're really fleshing this out, and like all of the things from what it looks like, all of the things that you're going to be able to do and want to do, they make sense that they're there. You know what I mean? So like, it's not they're not reaching really far. To give you a lot to do.
And honestly, like, Insomniac Games is like a perfect fit for this. And if you're not familiar, they made Spyro, they made Ratchet and Clank, and they made a Sunset Overdrive, which
Sunset Overdrive was great. Okay, I think Sunset Overdrive is a little underrated. It was big when it came out, and like nobody talks about it anymore.
Yeah,
but it was so fun to play.
I thought that Xbox would really kind of hark off that more because it was one of their most successful Xbox exclusive in recent years.
Any sequels or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. But yeah, Spider-Man. So, The big one is like Spider-Man 2. My favorite Spider-Man game was Ultimate Spider-Man, where you played as Spider-Man and you also played as Venom.
Oh,
and it was so cool. Like, so I don't expect them to have that.
But they have announced a bunch of different suits for Spider-Man you can wear.
I actually do want to talk about that because I saw a trailer on Facebook for like the different suit reveals, and let me tell you, like, they're not just skins. Like, one of the suits is the Iron Spider suit from Infinity War,
and you get the spider legs,
and you get the spider legs, and the eyes glow. Like, the suits actually are like, they have differences. Like, they're not just like skins you put on. Like, they're actually like you're wearing different Spider-Man suits.
We saw a Punk Spider-Man one too, which surprised me. Cause have we really seen that in much canon Spider-Man stuff?
One of our friends actually cosplayed Punk Spider-Man.
Your brother.
No. My brother cosplays the other one. I don't remember the name of it now, but he's got like the blue sweatshirt and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
the Homecoming one.
What?
The Spider-Man Homecoming.
No.
Okay.
But this one, the Punk Spider-Man one, I don't know a whole lot about Spider-Man comics, to be honest with you, but that is something from the comics, so
I think it's
but it looks cool. Yeah.
And they have another suit that they have not announced yet.
They have not announced yet. They're gonna like reveal it in June.
This game just has so much going for it. It'd be a huge disappointment if it flops, not only because it's got a lot of nostalgia of like good found games in the past, but also just taking that aside, everything leading up to this looks great. Yeah. It's made by a developer that really fits well for this franchise, because Insomniac does well with story elements as well as the exact kind of mechanics that this game would need, like in Sunset Overdrive. Very unique kind of free-flowing mechanics in a city. Like, literally, like they specialize in this kind of movement. And that's going to be a huge part of Spider-Man or Make It or Break, is that movement of how you feel. Because if you get that movement right and you feel like you are Spider-Man playing, that's the point where it really makes it awesome.
Yeah, I think people will agree with me. I'm like dying for another superhero game that's successful. Because honestly, the last ones I can remember are the Batman games. And like, those games did make you feel like Batman. Yeah. I think like everybody... I think the first one is kind of underrated in the whole series of the Batman games, but like walking through Arkham Asylum as Batman and like things are not, I don't know, the atmosphere of the first Arkham game was like unrivaled. So like you said, it would just like they really have to capture, like you gotta feel like Spider-Man.
I feel like that's gonna really lead into kind of like just what's gonna make this successful to the what's going to make this game be successful that it makes you feel.
Yeah, the mechanics have to work. They have to work well, and there has to be a reason for you to keep playing this game. Like, there's a lot of the things missing from previous Spider-Man games.
What about the Deadpool video game that came out a couple years back? Was that like
that's kind of like a cult? That's kind of like a cult favorite. Like,
because that one, gameplay-wise, wasn't the greatest. It really was very generic in that sense, but the story was hilarious. And I actually didn't play it, but I watched a lot of it, and I had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah. Like, it was fun for people who really like Deadpool and like were just looking for a good time.
Mm-hmm. This was before the movie came out, too, so...
Yeah, so like, it generated a little bit of a following, but it wasn't a big deal.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other comic-related video games that's come out, and it's just not been a lot.
Yeah,
I think it's because so much of them have not been great.
They did have like the Lego games though, but I don't know if that really counts as much. But
true.
I've heard rumors of a new open world Superman game. Oh, I'm like all about that.
Superman's a much harder, and I think the reason why there hasn't been a good Superman game, like literally Superman 64 is one of the worst video games of all time.
It's hard to...
Does Injustice, Gods Among Us count as a good superhero game?
Yes.
That's
okay.
Yes.
Because I enjoyed just watching that, too.
Injustice, especially the second one, like, it actually got better. It actually got better with, like, the second game.
It's a good sequel.
Yeah, Injustice is amazing.
Why don't they make one of those for, like, Marvel characters?
Marvel vs. Capcom.
It's true.
They do. Like,
that one's more arcadey, but I understand.
They haven't done it because they have that, and people like that a lot.
Did you guys play Ultimate Alliance at all?
I did. That is good. Ultimate Alliance is good. I didn't play
the first one. Like, I played a little bit of the first one, but I played the second one, which basically revolves around the actual story of Civil War.
Only the second Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 is nowhere near as good as the first one. it's more like on rails. It feels more like it's on rails and linear.
All I know is that, like, the story in the second one.
The first Ultimate Alliance is it's super fun with friends. Like, cause four of you play together.
I don't think I ever did it with friends. I only played by myself.
Oh, you got to. It's like the Lego games. Where people like drop in and drop out, and they're all on one screen,
so
and
cool.
It's so much fun. And you can like upgrade whatever character you play as. Like, you can play as anybody. Like, there's tons of characters, and you can like, upgrade them, different suits, all kinds. It was so much fun. That would be worth, like, if
I need to go back and play that. I think we might have it actually.
Okay, yeah, because like if we wanted to like invest in like doing a game for the show or the channel, that would be a really good one.
Okay. I think one of the reasons why like Spider-Man and Batman are successful because like they're more tangible characters to get across to make you feel play.
They're stuck in their cities basically.
Well, there's that and just the mechanics of it. Superman, the reason why there hasn't been as successful, at least in my opinion, is that they get the feel that you are Superman. It's much harder without making it seem unrealistic because he is so powerful.
Honestly, the closest I felt they've gotten to that, and I could be wrong because I haven't played a lot of Superman games, but I did play Superman Returns, the game, on Xbox.
You mean like from the movie?
From the movie.
They had that?
Yeah, they did. And
the amount of movie adaptation games
you'd be surprised.
Would blow your mind.
But anyway, like, I played this one, and it got the closest I could think of because the way the mechanic worked is you played as Superman and you were invincible. The thing is the health meter was actually the city's health meter.
Oh.
And that made things interesting. It wasn't perfect, but it like that's a good starting idea. You know what I mean? That I think that you can go somewhere with that.
Well, if you're Superman, you don't really have to worry about your health so much as long as the sun is up.
Yeah. Like what do you have to worry about? And so like the city health meter was kind of an interesting idea. But yeah, I feel like with Superman you'd have to be really creative, or you'd have to create a story that does something to weaken him. You know what I mean? I actually think with the new Spider-Man game coming up, they are introducing some new villain with some new power. I can't remember a lot about it, but I've seen trailers with like this guy, and like he looks like he's got like a suit on. He looks all nice, and there's like some like black like power stuff. I don't know. Like it's new. It's definitely an original story.
One of the things that I heard. I didn't play the game, but I heard that the X-Men Origins Wolverine video game was actually better than the movie.
It was great. Yeah, it was like 10
brutal,
times better than the movie. Yeah.
Was it rated
Which is not hard. I think it was. I think it was actually.
So that was the Wolverine that people wanted.
Yeah, you played as Wolverine, you like literally tore people apart. Like it was like, yeah, that's actually considered one of the best comic book games.
Actually,
and the movie sucked. So like,
yeah. Well, I was just to briefly touch on this as we're getting excited for Deadpool 2. Ryan Reynolds had probably the once in a lifetime opportunity to play a superhero that flopped and got the chance to redo it.
Yeah.
No one has ever.
No one wants to see anybody but him play him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he just is him. Like how can you? You know what I mean?
He definitely had it down.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, just the advertising for that is just ridiculous now.
And the way
so
the way that Deadpool is he can reference back to that character that doesn't exist anymore. Like it's just fun.
Yeah,
he's done that a couple times in the movie. Like I know he's gonna do it again in this one, I think.
Yeah, like he even like holds up like a action figure of the old Deadpool character.
And speaking of which, I would love a more legit Deadpool game because the one that we got was I get it was more arcadey, but it didn't feel like there was a lot of money put into it. Because I feel like they can make it they can make this a smash hit if they
I want Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So I want like an MCU Ultimate Alliance game. That'd be so cool.
When I was playing Ultimate Alliance, like I didn't know any of the characters basically, but I did really like Deadpool. One of the reasons was he was able to teleport. I didn't know if he was able to do that or not.
People fought over playing Deadpool.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Like, this guy can teleport, he's a smart mouth, and he has swords. Like, he's really cool.
I actually used to play as Blade a lot. I thought Blade was awesome.
Yeah.
Blade is still cool. I am still, like, crossing my fingers and holding out for a Netflix Blade show that like crosses over with all the other ones. It would fit so well.
They have a Cloak and Dagger show coming out soon.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
I haven't watched The Runaways either, but apparently that's really good.
No, don't watch it. I didn't really enjoy
Well, I got
them.
shut down.
Yeah,
I mean, I
was gonna say.
watched the first like 6 or 7 episodes, but
Oh, wow, so you really gave it a try.
I was waiting for them to run away and they didn't.
It's called The Runaways.
I was like, guys, you have one job. One.
This show should have a different name.
Do you know the way?
Do you know the way
Apparently
to
not.
run?
Oh my gosh.
Literally anywhere. Come on, guys.
This is a classitic live.
You could have even just run down the street. Like, you just run away somewhere.
You're just like angry at your parents, but you're not like, I need to get out of here.
Oh, man, I thought I was... What was I talking? We were talking about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were talking about Spider-Man.
So, but anyways,
the
the last thing I want to touch about this is that, so we talked a lot about the mechanics.
Yep.
I talked a lot about the story. But another thing that I think that really makes Spider-Man special and that will make this key for making this from a good to a great game is the freedom of the game and
It's
giving
definitely an open world game.
it needs that. I don't know how much Arkham gave you, because I know the latest one, they gave you the most freedom you've ever had as far as exploring
Yeah.
and stuff like that goes.
So,
but how much interaction was there for you to find out yourself?
Like, how much stuff was there in the world?
Yeah, just stuff
Okay.
that not story
So-
related that you could just stumble upon and have fun just going around in the world.
So, the fun thing about the first Arkham game was it was a linear one-player story, and we've seen those come back with, like, God of War. Everybody loves that. It's very much like that. But there were obviously collectibles you could get. There was a lot of mystery surrounding what was happening in the background that you could discover for yourself.
So more stuff to add to the story if you wanted to
exactly.
find out.
You could find characters that weren't necessary to the story. Like, it was just cool. Like, the world felt alive in the first Arkham game. You go to Arkham City, obviously they've expanded that. They've given you an open world to work with, because in the first Arkham game, you were just on the Asylum Island.
Yeah.
And there were outside segments, but most of the game took place inside. It was still amazing. But so the second game, Arkham City, you got an open world, and there's still a lot to do. There are side quests. There are, like, characters you don't have to meet. I think one of my favorite was the Mad Hatter. Like, you would just be flying around, and you end up on the street, and all of a sudden there's this weird door. Like, yeah, so there was just cool stuff like that, and you could walk through the door, and bam, you were at a Mad Tea Party and stuff like that. It was
That's
just
so cool.
It was so cool, and they take it up a notch in Arkham Knight, where there's more of that stuff. And I like to add credit to this. I'm pretty sure IGN has said, I could be wrong, but I'm sure that somebody has said that Arkham Knight is like the densest open world game they've ever played. Not the biggest, but it had the most going on in what they gave you.
Yeah.
And that's impressive. Like,
That's very
so,
true.
Yeah, so like Spider-Man
very
would do
rich.
good. Exactly. Spider-Man would do good to emulate that. And that's like that is crucial with open world games, because there's no point to having a big world if there's not a lot to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a waste. Like, what are you going to do? Just swing around all day? Like, that can be fun, but it gets old.
Yeah.
That'd be another thing. They've, like I've said, they've got to make the mechanics fun. Like, because, yeah, you can, like, I remember in Spider-Man 2, it was kind of fun just to swing around a lot. Like, it was fun.
Because it made you want to explore, because you just loved being Spider-Man.
Exactly.
So this game has to make you love being Spider-Man and makes you want to do more than just the story.
Exactly.
You know how in video games they'll sometimes have like a radio going on like while you're doing your thing and you're able to hear people talking about certain things? I want to have like a radio segment where J.K. Simmons is you know, J. Jonah Jameson, and he's just ranting about Spider-Man the entire time, and Spider-Man's just reacting to it while he's swinging around.
That would be fun. Yeah, they need a good cast of characters. I'm not really sure who's involved, but I'm sure you've got a lot of big names in there. But yeah, like, and that's one thing the Arkham games really captured, is you felt like you were Batman, and it was fun to be Batman. Like, it was just, it was so cool.
So
there was so much you could do. And, like, all the problem solving, and there were puzzles, and
how long ago did Night come out?
I think it was 2015.
Yeah. So it's
Either
been a while
15 or
since we've had a
16.
good...
Yeah.
And that's why everybody's really...
I remember one of the most impressive things they said about it was they had to make it an Xbox One only, like a next-gen only, because if they tried to put it on the 360 and the PlayStation 3, they said only the Batmobile itself would fit on the game. Yeah.
Wow.
It was such a big game that it had to be on the next-gen consoles. It was crazy, yeah. So that's just, like, an idea how far we've come with this. It's crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
So,
All right.
Spider-Man, look out for it.
Yeah, I'm super stoked.
Tell me how it is, because y'all probably play it before I do.
Well,
That's what you talked about at first, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
everyone else can do it.
Get you hyped.
I want to talk about Cobra Kai.
Which I have no idea what that is.
So-
Have you seen The Karate Kid?
Yes.
Ever?
Okay, good.
Okay.
So this will be great because then I can kind of like build up a nice introduction to this.
Okay.
So, about like a year ago, there was an announcement that there was going to be, or at least a rumored, return of Karate Kid in a series format.
Mm-hmm.
The creators of a hot tub time machine wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I know.
That went down so fast.
Yeah, this is shit. They are huge Karate Kid fans. They grew up with the original movie, and they really had this unique idea of how to make a series work for a Karate Kid. And what that takes place is that we literally fast forward to the future time, being present day right now, and literally do like, oh, where are they now kind of thing with Johnny and Daniel. And you see, I'm sorry, before I get into the story real quick. So there was the show that got rumored. Eventually it gets fought over by a few, like Hulu, Netflix, and YouTube. YouTube actually ends up getting it by a combination of money, but two, also they the creator said that they had the most support for their vision.
Okay,
So
with YouTube.
yeah,
Okay.
and being for YouTube Red to have it on their show, and YouTube has been desperately looking for something to make their platform worthwhile. You know.
Yeah, because like they thought all of their high profile YouTubers would be into doing originals for them, but they just haven't been that.
And
great.
they have
Well,
gotten
they've
some,
done it,
but they
just
just
not
haven't been that great. Because
Yeah.
I think it comes down to the fact that the YouTubers aren't actors. They have
Exactly.
very specific things that they do that they're good at, and they do that themselves. They don't know how to work with a production team, or like a movie kind of setup, and it just doesn't feel genuine from them.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes down to it, their YouTubers are great, but they're not like...
They're not actors.
Exactly. They're not... Yeah, it's a totally different medium.
So, everybody got that, and YouTube, I think, was trying to branch out, look for something different, and they found this, and they managed to get it, and oh boy, what they made is astoundingly good. Now, there was a lot of, there was some trailers leading up to this, that made it seem like it's too good to be true. So they got the original cast back, which is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. And
So this is like an official Karate Kid thing.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They didn't have a press. It's literally the same actors, which haven't really done anything since
Yeah.
Original
Karate
actors
Kid.
being the two main characters.
Two main characters, and they have. I'm gonna keep the details of the ending spoiler free, but I will be talking about some aspects of the ending. So there is minor spoilers in this
So
conversation.
the whole series is already out?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
it came out like Netflix style.
How long is it?
10 episodes. 20 minutes each.
And it's just a one-shot thing? Like this is
No.
one series? Okay.
Yeah, and
All right.
that's why there's semi-spoilers, because I'm going
Okay.
to talk...
So there will be more seasons of it.
Yep, and
Okay,
season
all right.
2 has already been...
Oh,
yes,
cool. Okay.
So, the trailer's it just looks kind of skeptical. It's like, how can this be good? It looks like you just don't know how to feel about it. It looks like it could be good, but it also looks like it'd be super corny, just the way that they're setting up with the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I want to believe that this is good, but it just doesn't... There's just no way this can be good. And on top of that, it's made by YouTube Red, which hasn't had a single hit come out yet. So it's just like...
So this could be their thing, their big thing.
And right now it is, because this has been met with unanimous support. It literally has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not...
Does it really?
It's not certified yet,
Okay.
but it does have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think a 9.2 on IMDb.
Wow.
It is so good. So this series, you fast forward to present day, which is 34 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy, right? And
You can see it. Yeah, they're definitely
You
older.
can see it.
and this time we are viewing the story from Johnny's standpoint, which is really cool.
Well, it for the most part it leans towards Johnny, but you also get a lot of Danny too.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Daniel.
for sure. But as far as how we're exploring this, so
And Daniel was the main character.
Daniel.
Was the
Yeah.
Karate Kid?
Yes.
Okay, but you're coming
John-
at it from Johnny's
he ain't
side
a kid
mostly.
anymore.
Okay.
yeah. So Johnny, you see Johnny, and he's a mess. He's living in a really really sketchy apartment. He's an alcoholic and just like is really just like a really beat down person and really doesn't seem to have much of a reason for living. He hates his job. After episode 1, he gets fired from his job, and he ends up helping out this kid because they were beating him up, and he used his karate moves to beat up these kids. He's like, yo, you need to teach me that. He's
It's
like,
basically like it's very similar to the original where
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi comes in and saves Daniel-san.
yeah. So
Danielson.
yeah, so you have that, and now he's training this kid. Ends up bringing Cobra Kai back.
What's Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai is the
dojo
that Johnny went to. Remember the big like bad.
See, it's been so long since I've seen Karate Kid. So
Same.
okay.
But and that's what the series is named after,
cool.
Cobra Kai, because he brought Cobra Kai back after Daniel would do everything to see it. Like,
Bring in Cobra Kai.
yeah.
Cobra Kai never
So-
die.
And then now the bitterness and saltiness between Johnny and Daniel is more prevalent than ever.
Which is
because-
surprising because like right at the end of the first movie, Johnny, he hands over the trophy to Daniel. He's just like, "You're okay, man. You're okay." And we're
Yeah.
like, well, that was
We're led to believe that things are like going.
he gets
into-
kicked in the face and he's happy. Okay.
Well, that being
sure.
said, though, in the second movie, which I don't know how much you remember, it opens up right after the tournament where his sensei is super mad at him, freaking breaks the second place trophy and is like yelling in his face. And like Johnny explains in this movie that his sensei was like a father because Johnny was actually brought up in a very high class neighborhood. His parents were very rich, but I believe
it's his stepfather.
Yes, stepfather, and he was an absolute jerk. So there's this really awesome play with family between Daniel and Johnny where Daniel's like to Johnny is like, yeah, but like I didn't grow up like you, and the rich kid's like, yeah, but I didn't have a good family. Like at least you had that, and I thought that was really cool. And there's a lot of really good family notes related to this.
Like today.
You have to. It is so good. It is literally the best series I've watched in a while.
First 2 episodes are free on YouTube Red, and then you can probably get like a 1-month trial.
No,
oh, you do?
I have YouTube Red.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I get it with my Google Play subscription,
Yeah.
which is only $10 a month, by the way. And if you don't have that, free trial, 30 days, you can binge it.
Honestly, I have YouTube Red because I use it for podcasts and stuff. Seriously, like YouTube is so versatile.
Yeah, it really is. And then it's great because it actually supports the creators more.
Yeah.
Because the more consistent stuff.
I was gonna say so many shows that we're used to watching have like upgraded sense. Like Good Mythical Morning has like upgraded.
Yeah.
And for free because they probably used the money they've received from YouTube Red stuff to like,
absolutely.
we're just gonna give you guys more stuff for free now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but going back to Cobra Kai, so you have this wonderful because I'm sorry, and then I should probably finish off with the summing up for this is that Daniel, you look at Daniel and he is super successful. He's got a really nice car dealership. He's literally living the life. He is the town's hero. Like everybody loves Daniel.
Except for Johnny.
And it's so great because they have this thing, and you see this in the trailers, where you see the trailers for his dealership, and he's like, we're kicking like the prices and slashes and like he's totally harking on the whole Karate Kid thing, and he's like, and with every purchase you get a free bonsai tree. Like it's like full out, and see that seems like super corny.
It
but
feels like a gimmick.
It feels like super corny when you're watching the trailers, but when you watch the show, it fits way better than I thought it would.
Well, people think that it's a gimmick. He's like, no, I actually did do karate when I was a kid.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. So we all know going into this that Daniel was going to be pitched as more of the bad guy, but I was delightfully surprised that he wasn't like the bad guy. He just had a lot more human traits now that made him much more on level standing with Johnny.
He was also like much more happy. Like his life is good. It's really good. He has like a ton of car
No, it makes
dealerships.
sense that they would kind of switch.
And
places.
in fact, like Johnny, the whole reason for Daniel becoming more bad is because Johnny basically re-enters his life after all this time and is basically messing up things in his life, and he's getting really like unreasonably annoyed by this and is making some really bad decisions in life.
I think reasonably annoyed, but yeah, he does.
So
make
are
some
Danny
bad
and Johnny the main characters?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
But there are kids and younger kids involved that
They're
are.
the-
So
the
you have
next generation.
Yeah.
Basically.
So you have the kid that Johnny's training, and you have Johnny's son, who is being trained by Daniel.
Oh,
Yes.
burn!
And major spoiler here, they don't find
Major
this out.
spoiler?
Okay, fine. Well, No, it's more of like a timeline
They eventually
thing.
find out.
What?
They eventually find out, but it's not towards the end. So this is what I want to
towards
get
the
to the end. That's kind of, and this, like, I won't go into details so you still enjoy watching it and everybody else getting into it. But I was expecting this to be like a one-off season, and for it to be really, really wrapped up. Like, the second to last episode really makes you feel like that. Like, things are starting to come together. Johnny and Daniel are getting along. They're getting better with their differences. You had that second to last episode is probably my favorite because they have so many moments referring back to the Karate Kid, where they literally are revisiting original scenes from the Karate Kid movie and seeing what they look like now, and like talking about
How
those
long
memories.
are the episodes?
It's like 22 minutes, but I
Okay.
think the last one's like 30 or 40.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was so good. You can tell that they were true fans because they did the homage to this original series so well. Because, like, for instance, they use soundtrack from the original movie, which is so good, but they don't use it cheesily, just enough in moments where it makes sense. Like,
But they do use a lot of old school retro, music. So that is kind of cheesy, but in the same sense, you're just like, yeah.
What's that super popular, like, what was it? There's like this super popular YouTube thing. It's got like David Hasselhoff and like a Triceratops.
Kung Fury.
Kung Fury. There's gonna be a movie for that.
It's gonna be
I'm so
awesome.
excited.
Wait, what was the thing that we watched then? That was like on Netflix. That was a movie, sort
Kung
of.
Fury.
Yeah, that was like
The original Kung Fury. That's what it got everything started. But they're gonna make they're making
a full length.
They're making like an actual like
There's
Hollywood
a half-hour
movie.
episode remake from fans that was on
What?
Netflix. You
No,
haven't-
it's not a remake. No, that was the original thing, and it was only a half hour long. is the
Yeah,
thing.
that wasn't the original.
Yeah, that
thing.
was the original.
That was the original.
It was a Kickstarter project.
Yeah.
They made a half-hour movie, more or less. Cause
Oh, that was the original thing for this
For Kung Fury.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the original
Oh,
thing.
and
with
we're
David
mixing
Hasselhoff.
up topics.
No.
here.
No, sorry.
No.
This has reminded me of
Yeah.
that. Like,
But so anyways,
that.
the second to last episode sets up a nice, clean ending where everybody gets along and everything's great, and you're pretty satisfied with it. But I couldn't help but feeling like it's going, like, not that it's going too good that things are bad, but I'm just like, this is too easy. Like, I was really enjoying the series and kind of like they could still do so much more with it. And then they do it. Everything at the end of episode 2, everything falls apart, and then last episode is you just looking at all this happens. And guess what? By the end of the last episode, everybody loses. Nobody is happy, and now you're just.
Oh, there's one guy who's happy.
That's true.
I'm
But
watching this.
so you're just going into
Maybe 2. I don't know. There might be 3 guys who are happy.
So you're going into season 2 now, just like, holy crap, what are they going to do now? And really just like, it's really just a really good start to probably a few season series, because now things I won't talk about what happens in the very, very end, but it hypes up a really awesome season 2. But anyways, so you've got the story, which is great. You've got the nostalgia, which is so on point, and you've got.
I've only seen the first movie, and I still felt nostalgia watching it. I'm just like, here we go.
And the comedy was also really great. It was really fresh because you have Johnny, who is literally still living like he's in the 80s. He's got his old Firebird. He's still listening to classic rock.
Guns N' Roses, yeah.
And he is... The dynamic between him and this kid... By the way, all the kid actors are great in this show.
Very good.
I really appreciate them, because you deal with a lot of high schoolers, so it could have been bad, but it was pretty,
High schoolers.
yeah. So it could have been bad, but they was really
They're
awesome.
actual high schoolers too, I believe, or
They feel like
they
them.
look like high schoolers.
We're so old now, guys. Literally, I was talking. I was like at a group this week, and this is a bunny trail, but I gotta. Man, I was at a group this week, and we had some like high schoolers join us, like for our talk that we were having, and something was going on in one of their lives, and I was like, when I was your age, and I was like, wow, when I was your age, like, I can say that now. Like, it's weird.
You know,
people
you're
are
getting old
still
when you
can't.
get excited at the store because you find soap and hand towels. You're just like, oh yeah.
I love hair towel. You kidding me? One of my favorite things now is a warm towel in the morning comes out of the dryer. Like, come on, like what is that? Like, oh.
Oh man.
That, and when I can actually find something to eat for breakfast.
Right?
Ching.
So, anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's
It's
okay.
just
No, it's also like in this one because Johnny and Daniel, they've gotten older, so they don't really know how to.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel is better at.
Daniel's become much more custom because he's really been with everything.
Yeah.
But Johnny's been basically
He didn't know what Facebook was too.
Yeah.
So
Johnny?
Yeah.
Johnny didn't know what it was. Like,
Johnny.
what's Facebook?
Johnny's been literally out of it for 20 years.
Oh, like in the first episode, he like pulls up next to a stoplight, and there's a girl who's getting ready to go for a run. He's just like, "Hey," and that's like such an '80s thing too. Like I feel like people don't do that as much nowadays.
I know. Now you do that, and you're like,
"Okay, you're a creep."
Yeah.
And she'd basically
now everybody has feelings.
Yeah. Emotions.
Where'd those come from?
Okay. So no. But on that though, literally.
Goodness.
He is going like hardcore, like all like it's like a different world we live in now, like from the 80s to now, and literally
he's not being nice to snowflakes.
No, literally, like totally disregard to like
That's
all.
awesome.
Yeah, just like totally trashing all of that, and it's really interesting to see this comedy that's not scared to show the difference between the 80s and the now, and the differences they have, and the failures of both, and the good sides of both. And really, that's kind of the dynamic you see with Johnny and the Kid, is that you're seeing the differences and how they can work together to make both of their life experiences to something that's better for the both of them. And it's really cool, but they really, really go ham on literally, like Johnny's literally like going ham on these kids, not giving a crap about their feelings and teasing the crap out like that, because that's like
he makes fun of them, like some deformities or like you know, them being like one kid. He has like a pie shirt, like a like a pie basically, and he walks up to him. He's like, cool shirt, and the kid's like, oh thanks. Like I was kidding. It sucks.
But like there's some jokes in there that really raise like an eyebrow from me. Like
I was like, I feel uncomfortable. I was like,
I was just like. Not that it was like I was like offended or anything, but I was like, I'm not used to seeing this kind of stuff on TV anymore. Like people aren't allowed to say this stuff. It seems like. I
mean, like I don't always. I'm not like the most easyggoing person, but some of that stuff had me raising my eyebrow. I'm just like, oh, you're able to say that. I wish.
But I will say,
I could say that.
It ultimately made it seem very real. Like there was a very realistic depiction of like what people are like today, and this conflict of ideals and opinions. And it did it in a very awesome and just genuine way. And it really provides a really unique sense of comedy that we don't really see on television right now. And it really doesn't skirt around anything. It really just goes for it. And it's really cool to see. There's just the difference, because it's great, because you have all the people who grew up with Karate Kid were like Johnny. Like they grew up in the 80s and stuff like that. So... And now, as they're like in a different world now, and all these kids think that they're the coolest, you're trying to hark back on all these things with karate and how it's like not as big of a deal as it used to be. Everybody's on their phones and all stuff.
Can you imagine like a kid now who would be the same age as they were in the 80s, like watching this show and being absolutely shocked at how things go?
Yeah.
like a 13 or 14-year-old watching this show and just be like, what is going on? This is terrifying. Like, people used to be like this back in the 80s.
Yeah. People used to be mean. Yeah.
What?
So they really go, and it's really, like, at first, it's like, wow, like, you have to get adjusted. It's like, wow, this is what this show is about. Okay, that's great. It's just like, you're just not used to it. Usually you're so used to shows being careful what they say now, but this one just doesn't give a crap.
I love how, like, Johnny, like, calls out cyberbullies in this one, because... one girl is like being bullied online, and she's like, yeah, they'll send me mean things and like pics and just call me certain things,
like anonymously.
And he looks at her and he's like, those people are a bunch of babies. Back in my day, if you were a bully, you would stand up to someone's face and tell them things, not hide behind his screen. What a bunch of pansies, basically.
Yeah.
He didn't say those words exactly, but
they were less sensitive.
Yeah. He was just like, seriously? They can't even be real bullies?
Yeah. Wow, yeah. So it's going on that. And
Insta bullies.
It's really cool. And honestly, coming out of the show, I got that same hype when I did as a kid watching Karate Kid. Like, I want to learn karate now. Like, I got that same feeling. Like, it was awesome.
I went to a gym yesterday and did some boxing.
Yeah, you did. So you have that, and then you just feel so fulfilled by the amount of nostalgia that they play so well to everything from it, and so respectfully. Doesn't feel forced at all. Always at the right moments, and always super touching. And lastly, like... it's just such a blast to watch, and I honestly enjoy myself like a lot watching this, and I basically watched it in like 2 sessions. Like it was such a binge.
I'd come
for the
home
show.
from work and just watch it later.
It was
like
I was seriously looking forward to like I gotta watch this show. I gotta watch this show. Like I haven't done that for a show in a while. This show made me do it, and yeah, it's fresh, but it's also nostalgic. It's well produced. The acting is great. By the way, I'm convinced that these actors, by the way, for Daniel and Johnny, they just are these characters. Because, they don't seem like they're acting. Like, they just feel like...
I feel like Johnny isn't that mean of a person in real life, though. For some reason.
True. That's true. I will say that watching this show, I sometimes forget that this isn't, like, something that's happening in real life. Like, it honestly feels like it could take place... Like, it's happening somewhere right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I just want to say, for people who want to watch a show that has a lot of nostalgia and is very retro, but also like focuses on young kids progressing, watch this. Don't watch 13 Reasons Why, okay? Don't watch
yes,
that.
thank you.
I can give you 13 reasons why not to watch it, okay?
100, okay?
But I seriously cannot recommend this show enough. Like, it is so good. Like, even if you haven't seen Karate Kid, you'll like this show, but it pays so much respect for Karate Kid that it's a shame that if you haven't seen it,
I'm gonna watch it,
but
I don't feel shamed anymore.
It is so good.
I'm feeling so attacked right now that I haven't seen it.
So
not really.
So yeah,
we should all learn karate, guys.
We're the Karate Guys. Another show you need to watch is Friends. I love
Where
Friends.
does that come from?
That's the
you should learn karate, guys. You should watch
That's
Friends.
the TV show I'm watching right now. I love Friends.
I get the Kung Fury segue, but the Friends segue?
That's just what I'm watching right now.
Is it because we're all
Friends had the
friends?
Infinity Stones all along.
Yes, it meant like it was so appropriate for me because that's what I'm watching right now. So I was like,
All right.
So
with that,
have a great day. Stay kind, geeks.
ciao ciao.